This week, HHS Secretary nominee RFK Jr. will meet with senators on Capitol Hill ahead of his confirmation hearing next month.
But the battle against big food is already taking shape as one Pennsylvania man sues nearly a dozen companies, accusing them of marketing ultra-processed foods to kids.
Fox News contributor Dr. Nicole Saphier joins us now. And you know what, Dr. Nicole, we got some stats we would just want to share. It's actually shocking when you think about the health crisis in the country. We talk a lot about adults, but let me tell you about some kids. I just want to get your reaction. 1 in 5 Americans between the ages of 12 and 18 are pre-diabetic. That's mind-blowing. That's according to a 2019 study. 5 to 10% of children have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That according to a 2021 study. What's your reaction to those stats?
Well, unfortunately, it's shocking, but not surprising. And we've been watching this trend happen for the last decade or so. And while we have come to accept the fact that American adults tend to be overweight, have metabolic syndrome, prediabetes, and diabetes, it's now going into our children. And that makes sense, right? Because whatever lifestyles we as adults are doing, it goes down into our children as well. So the lifestyle behaviors, unfortunately, is now harming our children.
You know, Nicole, sometimes the best questions that you can ask someone happen off camera after you finish the interview. And I just talked to Mae Musk, and I said, what's your best beauty tip? You know, here's this elegant woman who's aged so gracefully, and she said, watch what you eat. And we talked a little bit about what RFK Jr. is doing and so forth. Here is a consumer, by the way, a lawsuit. Consumer Brands Association. Food safety and protecting the integrity of the food supply is priority number 1 for food and beverage manufacturers. Their attempt to classify foods as unhealthy simply because they are processed, or demonizing food and ignoring its full nutrient content misleads consumers and exacerbates health disparities. So that's the food industry trying to defend itself against the fact that RFK Jr., and so many in the Make America Healthy Again movement, Cali Means, et cetera, are saying, hey, these ultra-processed foods are killing Americans, making them unhealthy, and pushing and propelling chronic disease in America.
Well, Rachel, you have to remember, this is a much bigger topic than just combating big food industry. What we're talking about is harmful consumerism and marketing to the population of items that may be harmful. We saw this with big tobacco in the 1960s and 70s, but we still see alcohol being advertised, pharmaceuticals being advertised. These all have addiction potentials, and they really feed on our natural dopamine pathways, which is our reward centers in the brain. So the big question is, you know, what are we doing here? If the product is harming the actual consumer, is the pitch, is it even working for the consumer, or is this purely profit driven? Because the harsh reality is people profit off of addiction. And so one question, there's a lawsuit going on right now out of Philadelphia, or out of Pennsylvania, where there's someone who's a teenager has that non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and they're now saying that the big food industry, because of their marketing and of these addictive substances, led to this. And while that may be true, I think marketing is very aggressive, especially to our younger populations. We see it with social media. We know there are consequences when it comes to these marketing campaigns. But I also have the question, where are the parents in all of this? We also, as individuals, have to be holding ourselves accountable for some of this as well. Yes, there are aggressive and harmful marketing campaigns. There is disgusting chemicals in our food supply, especially that's what's accessible to lower income populations. But also we have to think of, as the individual, what are we choosing to do?
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is, you guys, that our government is subsidizing ultra-processed food, and it's going to poor people in particular. I think that's really the crux of it.
That seems like that would be an easy thing to effectuate. We know they're going to go for transparency when it comes to a lot of the pharmaceuticals. How we implement change on food is going to be the hardest nut to crack, but I think subsidies is a great place to start. Yeah. Dr. Saphier, always great to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right.